Hello, so first semester of PhD, what should you expect? And then what are some of the things that happen in the first year? So I would say it varies, depends on the school, and depends on the supervisor, depends on the requirement. All right, welcome to my channel. My name is Peter Cecilia. I'm a PhD student at the University of Alberta. So in this channel, we talk about things that has to do with PhD and masters on research and supervisor, applying for admission and, a lot of things that has to do with grad school and how you'll be able to, have the best experience in grad school. So today I'm going to be sharing my experience in the first year of my PhD. I started my PhD in January of 2020. Yes, January of 2020. So that was in the middle of winter, so I moved all the way from Newfoundland to to Edmonton to University of Alberta. Well, I was already inside snow in St. John, so there was no really adjustment that I had to make in terms of weather. Just that in St. John's we have the snow, it's a little bit wet, and sometimes it can get sticky. And then in Edmonton it's very dry. The snow is very dry, and sometimes in Edmonton you can have around minus 25, minus 30, minus 35 on very cold days, but that doesn't, it's not like the every of the winter from December to March or April. It's all minus 20, minus 30. Sometimes it can come down to minus 5, minus 2, minus 10, as the case may be. So when I came in, I had already kind of used Google Map to survey all of the most of the universities. So I kind of knew all of the key buildings in the university. So when I came in, it looks as if I just moved from my previous university to like another faculty that I haven't been to in my same university. That was pretty much how it was for me. So I would say there was not a lot of adjustment that I had to make because I was already in Canada, another province. I just moved down, so there was not a lot of adjustment that I needed to make. And then during the orientation, the graduate orientation I attended, it was very fantastic. I got to meet new people from different countries, all over the world, from different backgrounds. It was very amazing. I loved it. But I've experienced orientation before when I was doing my master's, so I kind of have an understanding of how graduate orientation looks like, because when I was doing my master's I used to volunteer a lot. So I volunteered during the orientation. I've acted as a tour guide. Some new students came in, I have to kind of show them around Memorial University then, so I was kind of familiar with the process. So when I came to the University of Alberta during the orientation, we also had tour guides as well. So there were people that kind of showed us around the university. I really appreciated their effort because I know it's a lot of commitment that they have to put in, to work that, because I've been there as well. So I've worked, in similar position. I know it's a lot of time, commitment as well. So my first semester, I basically have to take 2 courses. So one was like an individual study course, where you have to kind of meet with your professor, and then they talk about a particular project, a particular topic that is related to your thesis, and then you kind of work on that. And then I also took another course, and then it was quite challenging, but it was fine. There's a way they do undergraduate and graduate version of the course. So 4th year students and then maybe master's or PhD students, they will be in the same class. So there will be the graduate version of that course, and then there will be an undergraduate version of the course. So both of you might be receiving the same lectures, but you might have different assignments. You might have to write a review paper that the students in the undergrad might not be required to write. But there are differences. But basically, lectures, actually the same. Depends on the course. There are courses that are strictly graduate student only, so depends on the course and depends on the school. So I have to do 2 courses. My program required 3 courses, so I had to do 2 courses in the winter semester, winter of 2020, and then there was no course in the spring, so I have to wait till fall semester to take my second course, the 3rd course. And then with that, I was able to really finish all of the, I was able to finish all the all the course requirement for my program. Everything was really fine. It was nice. In that first semester, there was really no COVID at that point in time, so I have to, classes was in person, so I was going to class at a particular point in time, and meeting other students. So it was really, 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 really very fantastic meeting students and just having that conversation, So we're doing presentation in person, before COVID now came. So that's basically how it works. And then most of the time, just learning about your project, I was in the lab, most of the time, just kind of going around checking different things around in the lab, what equipment are available, where are things positioned. At that point in time, you're not really doing like intense research, because you kind of need to do some courses, just to kind of understand your project. You start most of the time, those first years, basically reading, learning more about your project, developing research proposal. And then that's the time to really develop research questions, right? What are the research questions you have? And then what are some of the experiments that you plan to do? If you're doing animal work, then maybe that might be the best time to do your animal training. So I was going to do, animal work, so I had to do animal training as well. Both hands-on and the theoretical part of it. It's a very long thing to do, but it takes a bit of a time. And then towards the ending of the fourth semester, we started up our animal experiment and our animal work. So that's basically my first year of my PhD. So it might be different for other persons. I know a friend that started PhD, and the first semester was already running, within a few weeks already running lots of experiments and all that. So it depends on your professor, your supervisor, depends on the technique that you want to use. If it's a technique you've used before, that's fine. But if it's a technique you've not used before, then they're going to show you, teach you, and train you before you actually start using those experiments. So I'll say first year is a time to really adapt, read, and read, get to understand your project, ask questions, and then you really get to understand your project better. And then, now move to your second year, and maybe some other persons might still have some courses to do, after that first year. Depends on how many courses you had to do, you have to do. So that's basically more all I can remember for the first semester of PhD. And then so just take your time, put your mind into it. If you've already made a decision that you want to do a PhD, so don't allow anybody to discourage you, to tell you it's too tough, it's tough, it's tough, it's challenging, but don't give up, right? Don't give up. You started it, you should continue it, and then try to finish things up. Encourage yourself. One of the things I always encourage: find a work, school balance, school, lab, and social life balance. So engage in clubs or societies. Don't overstress yourself. Get good sleep, good rest. Interact with friends. And then make friends outside of your circle. Don't just limit yourself to making friends around just your department alone. Make friends around other departments, so that you can get different perspective in how things work, how other people think, regarding different situations and all that. So I have a question. So what do you think is your greatest fear, regarding starting a PhD, and what are you mostly scared of, in terms of thinking about the first year of your PhD? And if you're already a PhD student, you can leave a comment to just let us know what was your experience in your first year of your PhD, so that other people can also learn from it. So thank you for watching this video. So if you've not subscribed to my channel, do where to hit the subscribe button, so that whenever new videos are released, you'll be the first to get notified of my videos. Thank you so much, and have a wonderful day. I'll see you in my next video.